Hey, good morning, fam. This is Greta Ross with Mind, Body, Soul Shift, and we are back at it with Your Health Matters. And I have a very, very, very special dear guest today. She's been a dear friend of mine for over 30 years. So let me tell you a little bit about our guest. Her name is Kathryn A. Butler. She's an author, a certified master trainer, instructor, and certified career coach. She's also a highly sought after conference speaker, not only nationally, but internationally as well, for over 30 years. And with her selfless, big heart, and ever-essent personality, she's always has been on full throttle, as long as I've known her. She has perfectly, and I know that none of us are perfect, but she has perfectly navigated herself and her family through 14 major moves in the last 22 years. And the reason why that is because she's a military wife. She is happily married to Preston Butler Jr., who's a retired U.S. military lieutenant colonel. They've been married for 37 years. They have 3 grown children and 2 of them are married. She's not a grandmother yet, but hopefully sometime soon she will get to enjoy that. Kathryn, on a personal and professional level, has development certificates in CCC, CEIP, and CWDP. Now, I don't know what none of those initials mean, but she's going to tell us what all that means. But Kathryn has been a dear friend of mine. I met her a number of years ago when my daughter was probably 3, and I think Chelsea was about 2 years old. And we have been in contact and friends for over 30 years. So Kathryn, welcome to Your Health Matters. I really appreciate you taking the time to share your journey with the audience and let them know where you've been, how things are going, what your future holds, where you see yourself in the next few months, next year or so. So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself from your perspective?
Yeah. Thank you, Greta. I am so honored to be here with you. I tell you, I am excited. And anytime that I have a chance to share my story, to encourage others that they too can be successful, they can too be triumphant in the trenches of
Yes,
life, then I want to take that time to do that. I'm so grateful that we have had this relationship for some 30 years because it means even more for
yes,
you to know my journey and to know the struggles and the challenges and all the things that as a military spouse, which my husband now is retired, but
yes,
in those so critical years of us raising our family and traveling and moving and all over the world, those are the kinds of things that help to actually define who I am today. And so when you talked about my certifications, I'm kind of like, that's the life before where I am now. But
yeah,
those are the certified coaching and interview, resume, and workshop development. And so working in the workforce, I retired here just about 2 years ago from Camp Pendleton, where I worked for about 10 years, and I was actually a transition advisor. So in that position, I helped military service members and their families prepare for transitioning into the civilian workforce. So working with their finances, helping them with resumes, job search,
mm,
identifying their skill sets, identifying the gap so that they can understand what they needed to do in order to pursue a career that they may be interested in. And
yes,
so in all of that, that day-to-day talk and walk is a day-to-day reality with each one of us. It just
right,
depends on where we are in our season of life. And at that time, that was my focus. But I started to develop a few health challenges. I started to develop carpal tunnel, had knee issue, had a torn meniscus in one knee. And so some years ago had surgery. And then I had another torn meniscus in the other knee. And of course, all of these things, health challenges were starting to impact my ability, to do it
yes,
the way I wanted to. And so I decided, I needed to do something to start enjoying my life. I didn't want to
mhm.
work. You know how some people say, I'm going to work until I drop. Well, that may be the case. And I do have a saying that when I do leave this earth, I want to leave empty. That
Right.
means leaving empty of whatever God has created for me to be and to do,
Mm-hmm.
empty in helping whomever I can, serving whomever I can, reaching my goals, dreams, and aspirations. And because of that, I decided I needed to step back and start to focus on me. And
Yes.
so that's kind of me in a nutshell. I'm a servant. I love people. I'm a motivator. I'm a life coach. You know, I do all these things to help people. I love children. My gift is to pull out of people what they don't really know they have in them.
Yes.
So that kind of tells you a little bit, I think, about who I am and a little bit more about my
Yeah.
background.
Yeah. And you do that very well. The one of the things that I think that I was most impressed about you when I first met you, because I wasn't, my life was kind of, all over the place at the time. But the one thing that I really appreciated about you is that you embraced me where I was. And,
Yes.
and you loved me where I was. There was no judgment whatsoever. You just loved on me. And when I seen that, I was like, wow, that just really just blew my mind. And that's why I just kind of stuck to you like glue for all these years, because you're just so loving and caring and kind, and you give of yourself all the time. And with that being said, I know that through the years of being a military spouse, and and raising your family and all that stuff, you know especially with your children, all of them have 1,000 things going on. I think your youngest was just on American Idol. You were always torn in so many different directions, and because you were always supportive of your children. But during that time, and your husband as well, but during that time with you giving to them and giving to your husband and traveling here and traveling there, you weren't taking care of you.
Yes, it's true.
You were on the back burner, because you had so many things, and the days just kept running into each other. And then the next thing you know, you're in a whole nother year, and another year has passed, and you were still dealing with your health challenges. So share with us a little bit about, what was it that made you realize that you needed to slow down? I know your children are grown now, but at what point did you say to yourself, you know what, it's time for me to take care of myself now?
Well, the whole time along the way, I would do various things. I joined Weight Watchers. I would go to LA Weight Loss. I had a trainer. I'd get somewhere new. And what I realized, because I was an athlete when I was coming up, high school and all, and I was in the marching band. I played the trumpet. So I was in the marching band, jazz band, all through college. So we had to run into our places. We always had to do stuff to get ready to help with our breathing and all that. So it wasn't that I didn't know about health or know what to do to be healthy,
Hmm.
but what I didn't realize was I was basically stuffing my emotional mindset, the things that were happening in my life, because I was moving a lot. And I had to have a new home, a new school, a new church, a new environment. And I was a TV reporter by profession. I was a journalist, broadcast journalist for 3 years before we started to move. And so I didn't realize that even though out of my free will, I was saying, I want to, support my husband, take care of my children, and all of those things. I didn't realize as a person in my own self, we need validation. And when we don't do that, we stuff things, it causes stress. Now, you're an
Yes.
expert on all of this stuff, but I've learned recently uh, all of the effects of stress. And the stress,
Yes.
part of that weight gain, the stress of
Oh yeah.
heart problems, skin breaking out, lack of
Hmm.
sleep, not eating or overeating. I mean, there's so
Yes.
many things that happens with stress. And so as I started to recognize the deterioration, a lot of it in my body was coming from stress and not dealing with the issues really that were
Hmm.
happening in my life. I was like, I don't have time for that right now. I got to keep going.
Right. Yes.
So back last year, let's see, I think it was in January of 2020, my daughter, the youngest one you mentioned that auditioned for American Idol, she was on the Carnival Cruise Line for 6 months singing.
Hmm.
And when she was coming close to her contract ending, she said, Mom, Dad, you need to come and just enjoy the week with me. And so we did. And that was in January of 2020. And we got back literally about 2.5 weeks before coronavirus hit and everything shut down. So thank God we got back and all was good. But I went back for my checkup. I try to go every 3 months or so because a few years ago, I had been diagnosed as being a diabetic, type 2
Mm.
diabetic. Had started taking Micardis for hypertension, had taken some medicines and statins also for elevated cholesterol. So I have been monitoring this all of these last few years. But when I came back in January and I went for my checkup, I got on the scale and it just kind of something about it. I was like, what in the world? How? Because in my mind, and I don't know about anybody else, but sometimes we're in a denial of how we look or feel. I felt good. I looked good. I felt like I looked good in my clothes and
Mhm,
everything. So
mhm,
I
mhm.
wasn't concerned about it. But when I got on the scale, and then my blood work from my A1C had gone to over 7 points, and the doctor was saying, well, I need to increase your medicine, the metformin, and we're going to have to do this, this, and this. And I started thinking, no way. I don't want to have more medicine.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't want this. And my mother was a diabetic. I lost my mother-in-law. They're gone now. And I have uncles and aunts that had diabetes. I had amputees in the family.
Mhm.
So when that
Wow.
reality set in on me, I thought I have to do something. You
Yeah.
know, I can encourage everybody else to be the stars that they are,
Mhm, mhm.
but now I need to use my own words and I need to take my own medicine,
Yes.
and I need to make a change. And so that's when the real reality set in on me, that I had to absolutely make a change. I begged and pleaded with the doctor, and I said, can you give me a couple more months to work on this myself? Because I literally do not want to take more medicine.
Yeah.
And he said, okay, and we'll check your blood in 3 months. And so that's where that aha moment happened for me.
Yeah.
And so that was the start. Okay.
So so you were on high blood pressure medication, and then you were on medication for your
Cardis,
diabetes.
my Cardis for the diabetes. And then I would take some statins, different ones for the cholesterol.
Mm.
And for people that take statins, um, some may have the same reaction. Statins, I know we talk about what affects us, what effects of the medicines.
Right.
Um, and so statins for me cause my body to just ache, all my joints,
Mm.
everything. And so we would change the statin and go to another statin. And I would have the same after 6 weeks or so, I'd have the same reaction. So I just said, I'm taking myself off the statins. I'm just not taking them. So the doctor was like, well, we want to make sure that we're looking at your heart, because whenever you start having, diabetes, blood pressure, and all these things, they all are working together. And we want to keep you from heart attack, stroke, and so forth. But I decided, yes, I trust medicine and I trust man because God gave them the knowledge to do what they had to do. But I'm
Right.
also a devout prayer warrior, and I have a relationship with God, and I know that I needed to pray about what direction, Lord, what is it that I'm not doing?
Mhm.
That I'm not doing for myself. And so as I began to do that, the first thing he told me is, I'm going to show you how to start the change.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
so I prayed, and he said, I want you to write this down, 30 Days to Triumphant Living. So I'm actually working on that book. That's another book I'm working on too.
Wow.
And so he told me every day, I want you to write down what I'm telling you. I want you to have motion, and I want you to have devotion, and I want you to think about these things, and I want you to document it. And I did just what he told me. And at the end of the 30 days, I had lost 12 pounds.
Wow.
So that wasn't with any other kind of plan or anything. It was just doing what God told me to do.
Yes.
So after that time frame, I said, okay, this is great. So I went back to have my blood work checked, and my A1C had gone from 7.1 to 5.9.
Wow.
Yes, just in that three
Wow.
month time frame. But I said, okay, but I got to maintain it. So what do
Yes.
I do next? Well,
Mhm.
fortunately, I had friends that were in a healthy program that had reached out 6 months prior, and I wasn't really wanting to do another program. I was like, okay, I've done programs.
I'm burnt out from programs.
I'm burnt out. I don't want programs. But what they showed me was it was lifestyle change.
Yes. Yes.
It's for longevity. This is a choice to make for the rest of your life. It's
Mhm.
not a diet.
No.
It's a lifestyle change.
Mhm.
And so, and as you shared with me along the way, and I would see your transformation, and I would see the healthy movement, and I'm listening to what you're saying. And so I'm taking all of these things in.
Yes.
And so I reached out to my friends, and they were like, hey, we're excited to help you. So I have a health coach, and I started the plan with them that helped me to eat smaller increments of meals 6 times a day,
Yes.
have healthy motion and so forth.
Mhm.
And so that has been the lifesaver for me right now, because up to this date, I've lost 58 pounds.
Wow.
And so
Awesome.
so the journey, it's continual. I'm not where I need to be, but I made a commitment that I wanted to live. And
Yes.
so that's what's huge. I wanted to live. I didn't want, the cruise was great. I went to all the islands. I've traveled the world. I've been to Paris. I've been to Egypt, all through Europe, been to all kind of islands, the Cayman Islands, the Bahamas, Jamaica. I've had a wonderful life. But what good would my life be to come to this place
Absolutely.
and can't
Absolutely.
walk and can't move and can't.
Yes.
And so I just made a choice that I needed to do. And that to me is what everybody has to say. It's all about choice.
Yes, it is. It is. And that, I think that when we make up our minds, because it is a mindset thing, when we make up our minds that we want to have a better quality of life, and that this is going to be a lifestyle change, not a diet,
Yes.
not something, not Jenny Craig, not Weight Watchers. And I'm not knocking any of that. What I'm saying is it has to be a lifestyle change, and you have to have your mind made up in order for that to happen. Now, here's one of the things I do want you to share with us.
Yes.
I want you to share with us how you just, spoke about how you traveled the world. And I know you and Preston had been to some beautiful, beautiful places. I think I have a picture of you and your husband were in, let me see, where is it? The background was just breathtaking with you and your husband. I think it was in Dubai, maybe.
Yes. We went to Dubai. Yeah. Dubai. And because we worked overseas for 6 years. And so while we were in the Middle East, we had a chance to travel all throughout the area there. And some of my greatest adventures, being able to go to Egypt and have dinner on a boat cruise down the Nile River. I mean, we read about this in the Bible, we read about this historically. But to be able to be in those places and, and to or go to Abu Dhabi, and to be able to be in those places in the world to see uh, the wonders of the world. And,
Yeah.
this was huge because even
Yeah,
when we went,
absolutely.
yeah, and when we went to Egypt, my husband was saying, we can't go here. We may not be able to go do this here or that because he was concerned about my knees and me walking and those
Yes.
things. And I'm gonna tell you, it affected me. It bothered me because I was like, no, I don't want my health to be hindering you even to enjoy
Yes.
what it is. This is phenomenal. Look where we are. So I was like, no, man, even if I'm in pain, if I have to crawl up there, I'm getting on one of those pyramids and I'm standing strong.
Yes.
And as I did, it was like the mindset. It is the mind over matter. It's,
Yes.
like that little train to say, I think I can, I think I can, I
Yes.
think I can,
Yes.
and so we have to do a lot of self-talk. And we have to
Mm-hmm.
tell we have to tell ourselves, I can do this.
Yes.
I may not be where I want to be, but thank God I'm not where I used to be.
Yes.
And every single day I had to get up and say, you know what? I'm going to be here. I want to be here. And so traveling, I had to this was the big kicker. When I started traveling a lot and flying, and I had to get wheelchairs to ride in. Let me tell you something, you know, I used to look at people say, now, they need to go on and get up and walk. It ain't that far. I'm just being real because I had to come to that place and say, you know what, I understand. I needed help. And it was
Yes.
very humbling for me, but I couldn't walk long distances. And
Yes.
they want this knee, the right knee is almost bone on bone. So they keep saying, we want to do knee surgery, replace your knee. And I said, no, I don't want to. I don't want to. They keep saying, well, if you lose weight, that will help take pressure
The
off. So
pressure. Mm-hmm.
with this amount of weight that I've lost, I think I have taken about 175 pounds of pressure off of my knees now. So I'm able
Wow.
to walk and get up and down the stairs better and
Mm-hmm.
do the things that bring joy to me, and not just to me, but now my husband. You said, we have grown children.
Yes.
This is the best time of life. This is where you want to be, achieving the dreams and the goals that you work so
Absolutely.
hard for. And so
Yes.
that was huge for me. But there ain't no shame in my game. I still have to use the wheelchair if I have to go to Atlanta or to Chicago where there's a huge airport. Houston
Right.
is, but I have a different appreciation and for that and for those that have to use it. Um,
Yes.
but I'm doing everything I can to try to get myself to a place where, Lord willing, that I won't have to have that all of my life.
Right. Well, I think the one thing that I don't think that people really think about is when you are in an unhealthy place, that doesn't just affect your life. It
Yes.
also affects your family life because they sit back and they see you and they don't know from day to day, what's going to happen. So that's why it's important, I think, that we understand that, the people that love us and
Yes.
support us, that this is a big effect on them. And like you were saying about your husband, it's like, no, I want us to be able to go. I mean, you're in Egypt where the pyramids are, and you can't even go to even get up close and personal because you can't get there. I mean,
Yes.
how do you go all the way to Egypt and then you can't go see the
I know.
pyramids? I mean,
Exactly. Exactly. It made no sense.
it
And so
makes no
that's what
sense.
I said. I said, no, this is where it has to stop. It has to change. Uh,
Hmm.
and not only when you're talking about healthy mindset, you have to also think about healthy relationships.
Absolutely.
Because what I have found, and a lot of times, as women, for most women, I won't say all, but for most women, we internalize our pains and our hurts. And we may say, I forgive you and move on from that. And that may be a true thing. Out of our heart, we've forgiven. But it takes time for us to
Yes.
get over our hurts and our
Hmm.
disappointments and those things. And so when you're trying to make your life better, the people around you, you need people that are going to support you.
Yes.
You need the people that are most important in your life to have the same buy-in to
Hmm.
help make sure you can reach your goal. Because it makes no difference for me to say that I can't have cake and ice cream every day, and you to come in with big tubs of ice cream and cake every day and sit
Right.
and eat it in front of me. To me, that's disrespectful.
Right.
That's not love.
No.
Because love is the thing that tells you the truth, and love is the thing that will work along with you
Yes.
and help you achieve your goal. Now, I'm not telling them they can't have that. But out of respect to me, you know what? They're seeing the changes in me in my home, and
Hmm.
they're embracing it. They're
Right.
wanting to do more of the things that's going to benefit me, because if it's benefiting me, it's going to benefit them too.
Benefit them.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yes. Yes.
So this has been a all rail round. Everybody's cheering mama on there, and all my adult children, and I love it because they're like, Mama, you've been there for us. You have
Yeah.
helped achieve our goals. We've exceeded what we could have done. And we know that it was the foundation. It was
Yeah.
your love. It was your push that you were there for us. So now we're here for you. We are
Hmm.
here to help you achieve your dreams, your aspirations, and make sure you're healthy, because we do want you here for all those grands that are to come. You
Absolutely. Yes, yes, and that's so important to have that support system,
Yes.
because it keeps you on track. It keeps you mindful of what it is that you're doing and why you're doing it. I think when you discover your why, and you
Yes.
discover that your why is bigger than you, then
Yes.
it definitely keeps you on track, and then you have your husband and your children who understand your why. So that's why it makes the support system even better, for you to be able to stay, to maintain, because you may reach your goal, but then it's not over. The journey's not over, because you still have to maintain good health.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
one thing to get healthy, but it's something else to maintain it. But that's why, if it's a lifestyle, it's easier to maintain.
Yes. And the book, Triumphant in the Trenches,
Hmm. Hmm.
Victory Despite Challenges.
Yes.
And so when I was writing this book and then was able to publish it in the pandemic, some of the greatest things were happening in our lives during the pandemic, because God had a place for us to step back away
Yes.
from all the busyness of everything else that was taking our attention,
Hmm.
so we could really hear. He showed me, this is the
Yes.
reason why did you step
Hmm.
back,
Hmm.
because the journey is ongoing. And scripturally, we say that the race isn't given to the swift or he that is strong, but he that endure to the end.
Hmm.
The same shall be saved. But I like to say the one got to endure to the end. That means when the end comes, that means I'm out of here.
Right.
So that means that my journey, the endurance, it's continual. It's
Oh,
forever.
yes, it
People tell me
is.
I'm gonna get my forever house. Well, I think about, this is my forever house. This house,
Yes, it
this
is.
body is my house.
Yes, it is.
And I have to treat it right. And I have to do the
Yes.
things that are going to make it healthy and
Yes.
substantial and stay
Yes.
well, so I can continue to dwell in my house,
Hmm.
uh,
Hmm.
you know. And so those things that I find some people don't have a support system. And when I talk about triumphing in the trenches, I talk about triumphant thinking nuggets at the end of each chapter, so
Mm-hmm.
that you can start to embrace wherever you are, whether you're married or single, whether you're a parent or not a parent, whether you're by yourself and you're having to make this struggle or this challenge on your own. You are the master of your own. You've got to be your own biggest advocate for your own life, your own health,
Yes, yes, yes.
to do it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And and that's why I really try to stress to people, we could have high blood pressure, diabetes, and I know that God is a healer, but we also have to do our part.
Yes,
You know,
ma'am.
we still have to do something. And even if it's just getting up, going for a walk 30 minutes every day, um, that's something people's like, oh, well, it's only 30 minutes, but it adds up over time. Just continue to stay consistent with that, and you'll start to see some results. But I think what happens is that people don't see the instant results, so they just give up, not realizing that it's going to take time. It took time to gain that weight.
Yes,
It's going to
yes,
take time to lose that weight. You just can't
yes.
just lose it overnight. So I think that the consistency, which is the key, is where people they give up in the race
Yes,
before they get to the end, just before they can see the results.
yes.
But I think that the results are equally as important as the race itself, because it keeps you motivated, it keeps you there, it keeps you striving to maintain that level of wellness. And I think that when I talk to people about health and wellness, health is what we need to survive, but wellness is what we thrive. That's what we thrive when we're well. And when I say
Yes,
wellness, I'm talking about mind, body, soul, not just
yes.
in your body. I'm talking about the whole thing.
Hmm.
The whole thing, because it's so important. Because if you're not well in your mind, then you're not going to feel like doing anything to keep your body well. You're just not going to feel like it.
It's true. It's true. Everything starts in the mind.
It does.
The body can't function. I was listening to a podcast the other day, and wow, this was great. But they talked about how we can replace a heart transplant, we can kidney transplant, we can do but the brain, we haven't heard about a brain transplant. So the brain is so vital. Your mind,
Yes.
without it, the rest of your body, it won't function. It's
Yes.
dysfunctional.
Hmm.
So,
Hmm.
and that's what we live in, dysfunction, because of
Yes.
what's gone into our mind. So whether that's been from your childhood,
Right.
maybe you had a traumatic experience, something negative happened in your life, and you're holding the bitterness and the anger and the
Hmm.
unforgiveness. That's
Hmm.
why when you talk about mind, body, soul, that's why this is so important for people to get.
Yes, it is.
Because it's all connected. And if you're holding and harboring bitterness and unforgiveness in your
Hmm.
life,
Hmm.
it's very difficult for you to move forward in a positive way in any area of your life, because
It
it's
is.
called relapse. Every time you take 2 steps forward, that thing grips you and it pulls you right back to where you were, you
Yes.
know. And so this is why it's huge. The mind, body, soul shift. That means
Yes.
it's a process. You're going to be moving. And I love when you
Hmm.
said God does the healing, but we got to do the work. I love it.
Yes. Yes.
And we hate to say that word work, that 4-letter word work. But let me tell you what, the Bible also said, if a man don't work, he shouldn't eat.
That's right.
So
That's
we got,
right.
if we want results, if we want to be healthy, if we want to have influence on others to do the same,
Hmm.
we have to show the work. And it is
Yes.
work. I don't want to let nobody think that this is an easy way, and that I don't have days where I eat my chips, or I want to grab a candy bar or whatever I'm going to do. But what I have done is I found out you got to set boundaries and limitations. You got to be accountable. And then
Hmm.
you work within those parameters.
Yes.
You have to understand that I don't believe God created the food for it to be devastating and harmful. It's
No.
how we eat it. It's how we
Yes.
use it. So once you become knowledgeable in your mind, then you transfer that and transform at the same time. You
Hmm.
transfer the
Hmm.
thinking of your mind into your body so it can transform.
Yes.
And
Yes.
so that's why I love what you do and respect it so highly.
God gave me an illustration about our bodies being a house, because this is where we reside. And he says you have the foundation of a house, and
Mhm.
then you have the walls, which is the structure, and then you have the roof.
Yes.
And then what we do is, we get a home and we come in and we put in the finishes. We put our little decorations, like you have your books back there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everything was very particularly putting in place. And that's what we have to do when it comes to our health. We have to realize that, our foundation, um, the structure of the house and our roof, and we have to take care of that. I mean, you take care of your car, you go and
Yes.
get your oil changes, you go get your tires rotated. When it
Yes.
comes to your home, you make sure you don't have no foundation problems. You make sure you beautify your home. But our bodies and our health is usually the last thing on the totem pole. But we need to reverse that order. Because if we put that first and we're taking care of ourselves, then it allows us to be able to take care of everything else. It's just like when you're on an airplane and they say if the cabin pressure drops, to put your mask on first before you assist other people.
Yes.
Well, we're not assisting other people if we're not taking care of ourselves. We can't assist anyone else because
It's,
we're not taking care of ourselves. It's a battle because we're constantly in this battle trying to take care of ourselves. So how can we take care of other people?
yeah, it's true. And it's okay along the way to
Hmm.
help others. It's okay. But the thing is to realize that you have to have a boundary where you can
Yes.
say, and let me tell you, that was one of my biggest challenges is to say no, or not
Yeah.
right now, or maybe later.
Yes. Right.
Um, because we guilt trip ourselves that, we didn't do it. And we want to be all things to all people. And you can't be until you, like you say, until you have gotten who you are,
Yes.
uh, solidified. And then you
Hmm.
can bring your best version. You keep hearing this now, it's in my best version of myself. You
Yes.
know? And we want to have our best version of ourselves.
Of
And that's
course.
because we made the changes and we made the choices to make the change.
Hmm. Yep.
So I mean
And
that
again,
all
like you said, it goes to
yeah,
it all goes back to the choices that we make.
it's
And
true.
we have to understand that the choices that we make today is going to affect our tomorrows
Yes. Yes.
and our next year and the year after that. And the other thing that I want people to understand is the quality of life. I mean, I'm 63, and now even more than ever, quality of life matters to me. It's like, my mother's 83, so I'm thinking about, well, in 20 years I'm going to be 83.
Yeah.
you know do I want to be able to get around? Do I want to be in a wheelchair? Do I want to be on a walker? Do I want my husband having to bathe me? I don't want any of that at 83. I want to still be able to get around, do what I need to do to take care of myself. And that's why I do what I do, because the quality of life matters. And as we get older every day, we have to understand that, hey, I can't do what I did when I was 25. I,
Yes.
I just can't physically do it. You
Mhm.
know,
Mhm.
and even though I'm taking care of myself, I know that there's things that, at 83 that I won't be able to do because I'm
Yeah.
63 now, and I
Yeah.
understand that. But I think that, I know that, and I know that young people don't think about, being 80, but at some point, if you live long enough, you'll get there. But what type of life will you have at 80
Yes.
if you're not taking care of yourself right now today?
Yes, it's true. And my husband uses that quote all the time. He loves acronyms and codes. So he's like the I want QL, quality of life. He's like, yeah.
Yes.
He's like, I want to increase my QOL, and I'm like, okay, so he goes out and takes his walks,
Hmm.
walks the neighborhood. Now he's kind of gotten where he's starting to do his little jog and things again. Well, being military,
Of course.
he's always been healthy in that way. But even when you're slim, and this is a point I want to make too, don't think just because you're a slim person that you haven't made in the shade if you're not taking care of your health.
Right.
I know very many thin people that have diabetes. I know them that have high cholesterol.
Yes.
They have migraines and they have this and
Hmm.
that and the other. And so when we talk about health, we're just talking about ours because my journey has been with my health. That's the weight has had an impact on it.
Yes.
But I cannot just say after I lose my weight or get to where I need to be in that, I still have to keep getting my blood checked to make sure the A1C stays where it is. I still have to do the things I need to do to make sure that I don't have to take this medication. That's what I'm trying to do. And so
Yes.
and this picture here was on the ship in January of 2020. And then this
Wow.
picture here was probably in about July, maybe July of August of 2020. So within about
Wow.
6 months time,
Look at that.
and I'm still working on it. Like I said, I'm still working, but thank goodness I can look at the picture where I was, and I was so happy. So that's the
Yes.
point I want to make to people, because people always say, well, why do people always say, overweight people are miserable and no, it's not true. You're happy. I was happy, and I'm a happy person, but I wasn't healthy.
Right.
So I just want to make sure that people understand, that this journey is not just about weight, because I don't want people to get into the mindset it's just,
Yeah.
why are we judging other people? No, if I see
Mm-mm.
somebody, I told my husband, if I ever get to a place where I can't take care of myself, you have to do something.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to make a decision for me, because I
Yes.
don't want to get so far out of control that I can't take care of me. And that's
Right.
where all of this took place in 2020. So yes, we lost loved ones. My father-in-law
Yeah.
passed, we lost two auntie and uncle, we lost cousins. So I know about the grief. I have a section in my book about grief,
Yeah.
because I lost loved ones throughout my life. I was
Mm-hmm.
losing loved ones. And that also brought stress.
Yes.
So I didn't
Yes.
realize that I wasn't grieving properly. I wouldn't allow
Right.
grief to, the process of grief to come. And maybe I
Mm-hmm.
was finding that in food as comfort or whatever
Yeah.
it was I was doing. So
Mm-hmm.
this is a godsend. It's a godsend. And it's for everybody. Even though it says Memoirs of a Military Spouse, this book is for any and everybody,
Yes.
because
Yes.
you're going to find yourself in there somewhere,
Oh yeah, absolutely.
you know,
You are
and say,
right. You
I
are.
can be triumphant in the trench as well.
Mm-hmm. 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 Yes. And we have to know that this is obtainable.
Yeah.
It's not like it's so far out of reach. And I don't care how long it's been,
Yeah.
that you've been sick. It doesn't matter. There's still
Art.
time to turn it around, but
Yes.
it's going to require work.
Yes.
It's going to require work, and you have to have a made up mind,
Yes.
that you're willing to put in the work, and that you're willing to say, what, I'm going to let go of all the things that's making me sick, and
Yes.
I'm gonna do better. And it is a conscious decision, and you do have to make that choice.
Yeah. Every day. Every day I get up, I have to
Yes.
choose. I have to
Hmm.
choose, which do I pick? Do I choose to have a burger, or do I choose to have a protein burger? It's
Right.
not saying I can't have a burger,
Right.
but I got to choose what I'm going to have. So,
Yes.
and I think if anybody could just get that, just making optional choices.
Yes.
It's not depriving yourself.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
making optional choices that are going to benefit you better in the long run. That's
Hmm.
really the simplest way I can put it,
Yes. Yes.
you
Yes.
know?
And you know what, it really doesn't get any more simpler than that. It really does not. Because when you look at the choices that you have available to you, you just have to make the better choice, because
Yeah.
you have to say, this is going to help me in the long run. Yeah, do I want a burger? Yeah, but where's the benefit?
Yeah, exactly. It's your
You know,
choice. It's your choice.
exactly. That's right. That's right. It is. So let's we're gonna wrap this up, and I want to ask you, where do you see yourself in the next 6 months? I mean, when you look at where you went from January to July of last year, and what you accomplished, and you see that picture, and you see yourself, and you say, wow, because it is a wow moment. It's one of those
It
moments
is.
you look at it and you just say, wow. What keeps making you want to stay on this path when you look at this picture right here?
Well, I look at it as a motivation, because everybody's into vision boards and casting your goals. At the beginning of a year, we always start out with new resolutions and all of those kinds of things. And what I just decided in myself was, I want to be authentic in who I am, and I want to achieve everything that God has planned for me. I want it. And that
Amen.
means if I have to cut off some relationships, if I have to stop some of the projects and some of the groups that I've been so involved in, if I have to
Hmm.
dial back on it a bit, that's what I'm doing. And right now, I feel the purpose that He has for me is to live this triumphant in the trenches out before
Yes.
people, so that everyone can say, I can do this. And
Hmm.
my health has been my major trench,
Yes.
because it's been up and down, up and down, up and down. And so I see myself in the next 6 months. And I think that part of it is speaking it out of our mouth too, because we give credibility to our words and to our vision.
Yes.
And
Absolutely.
so I'm speaking it out of my mouth that I will be completely off of all my medicines. And Lord willing, I plan to be at least another 15 pounds of pressure down off of my knees.
Yes.
And I'm speaking that I might even have 3 books done in the next 6 months. I don't know. But because I know that I can do all things through Christ. And
Yes.
because I've made this choice, he's showing me glimpses of the results of just being obedient, being
Yes.
accountable, and being true to myself
Hmm.
to make a change.
Yeah.
And so let's see in 6 months where we are.
Yeah, we're gonna come back and do another interview in 6 months and see, and we're gonna see where you are. Now, let me ask you another question. How has all this made you feel? How do you feel about your transition, the changes that you've made in your life?
Yeah. I feel phenomenal. I feel phenomenal because it takes courage. Even doing this interview, it takes
Yeah.
courage because it puts you in a vulnerable place. To share who you are, and I'm
Yeah.
really a pretty private person when it comes to things like that. But I feel phenomenal because God has given me extended life just through this transformation, so
Hmm.
that I can tell my story, that I can encourage someone else that you can do this. I feel good
Yes.
because I can stand longer than 10 minutes at a time. I can
Hmm.
go, if I wanted to walk in the mall, I can literally actually walk in the mall.
Yes.
Before, I'd have to walk and go. The first thing I would look for when I go in, where are the benches? I'm not lying to
Wow.
you. And when I'd go shopping in the last 2 or 3 years, I'd go with Celeste or something, and I'd say, I'm gonna sit here. You go find what you have to find and do. It's heartbreaking when I think about it,
Yeah. Yeah.
because
Yeah.
that's quality time that I could have been with her. That I'm
Hmm.
sitting here waiting. So
Right.
so I feel wonderful. I don't, like I said, I have a lot of work yet to do. My knees are still in, not the best place, but I'm working on that and trying to get mobility and back in a place where I can do more walking. But I do a little exercises. I have videotapes and things I can do from sitting, and I do exercises around the house,
Hmm.
lifting my arms if I'm watching a video or whatever, I'm watching TV. I'm
Hmm.
starting to implement everything I can
Yes.
to
Yes.
utilize my space of what I
Yes.
can do and not
Yep.
focusing on what I can't do.
Right.
So, but I feel
Yes.
awesome. My family feels good. I'm able to
Good.
enjoy time with them. If we're going to go, I haven't got to walk on the beach yet because sand pulls and it's harder to walk with your knees like they are.
Yes.
But that's
Yes.
the goal, is to be able to go and walk along. I'm in Southern California, 5 miles from the beach. I need to be walking on the beach,
Absolutely.
so,
Absolutely.
those
Yes.
are some goals that I have. Those are just some goals
Good.
that I,
Good. Good.
but I feel
And
awesome.
then getting off some of the medication.
Yes, that's
Um.
the
th-
number one. Number one.
yes.
I'm not on.
Yes.
I'm not on the my Cardis. I'm on my Cardis still for the blood pressure because they have to monitor that. But I
Hmm.
haven't
Hmm.
taken. I haven't taken the metformin. I haven't taken it for 4 months. So I'm
Wow.
waiting to go back to get my blood work done. Hopefully in the next 2 weeks, and
Hmm.
uh, and then we'll know. So we're already on track. We're already moving things out of the way.
Yes, that's
It's
awesome.
good. So
That's
it's a
that
great
is
place
so
to be.
awesome. Yes, yes. So before we go, just tell us just a little bit about your book, because I do want to, for people to purchase a copy of the book, because it's after. So I mean, the book is, when I tell you that you're gonna find yourself in this book, and I don't care who you are, what walk of life you're from, you're gonna find yourself in this book, because this is just so, it's just so everybody, because everybody can relate to it. So just tell us a little bit about it. First of all, tell us how it came about of you writing the book, and then tell us a little bit about the book.
Okay. Well, first of all, because I traveled so much as a military spouse,
Mm-hmm.
everywhere I would go, I would run into other spouses and they would say, how are you maintaining, your marriage? My husband and I have been married going on 38 years.
Yeah.
How are you maintaining? How are your children so successful? Man, you got 3 brilliant children. I have
Yes.
a Stanford grad, a USC grad, and I have actor. I have a professional singer. I mean, phenomenal kids. And so I said, well, I was thinking about it one day, and all these people would say, can we do a coffee morning? So everywhere I was going, I was getting all these lists of people wanting to do it. And I thought, there's only one of me. I can't do 1,500 coffee mornings. So, but the Lord said, but you can write a book and you can put those nuggets in the book. So I
Yes.
started writing the book really for legacy for my children, because I really
Mm.
wanted them to know who I was and know
Yeah.
about my life in a different perspective from not being my children.
Right.
And then as I began to write, I started thinking of how could I help other spouses. So Triumphant in the Trenches was birthed. You can see all my sticky tabs. I have to go through my own book, and I get nuggets from my own book. Trust me,
Yes.
because God gave it. It was God inspired. And
Yes.
so the book talks about trenches, dealing with people. I'm working on another book called The Sandpaper People. God put sandpaper
Mm.
people in your life to help sharpen you and shape you.
Yes, yes,
When people
ma'am.
don't like you, you have haters, you have people that want to
Mm-hmm.
throw off the plans for your life. I talk about how you can overcome. I talk about the victories of life, of being validated in who you are.
Yes.
I talk about grief and loss and how you work through that. I talk about marriage because in the first 3 years of our marriage, I didn't even know. My husband was saying he was thinking about a divorce. I didn't even know. And then he
Mm.
wrote a book, It's Okay to Have an Affair with Your Spouse. And as I was reading the first couple of chapters, I was sitting here, tears rolling down, like, why?
Mm.
We were going in different directions, lack
Yeah.
of communication. And that's what the Lord showed me. He said, you're going to write this book to help other people see you're a real person
Yes.
and they're going through these same types of trenches and challenges in life, and they can also be victorious in it. So the book is on Amazon, it's on Barnes and Noble, it's on Books a Million. It's out there on all the platforms, Walmart.com.
Okay.
If someone wants to get an autographed copy, they can email me, Kathryn A. Butler Official at gmail.com. And you will send me your information, and I will show you about PayPal, Venmo, however to get it paid for, whatever. But I'm venturing out. As you can maybe see in the background, I've started
Yes.
to get some other merchandise. I've got some
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
trench kit bags, some coffee mugs, and I'm just doing what God say do. Just
Yes.
be a blessing to people. So a great piece of work. And then after I finished the book, he told me to write a journal, a personal journal to go along
Wow.
with the book. And so
Awesome.
the journal, it has prompts for every chapter for you to
Mm.
think about your story and for you
Yes.
to write and to think about how to get out of the trench. How do I make this shift? And so I just believe that he put everything in us, and I
Yes.
want him to pull it all out. Whatever it is he wants me to do,
Mm-hmm.
that's what I want to do. So please,
Yeah.
I thank you for the opportunity and being able to reach out to me. But Kathryn A. Butler Official, KathrynAButler.com is my website,
Yes.
www.KathrynAButler.com. And so God's just doing great things. I don't know. I'm just letting it happen organically, and whatever way He takes it, I'm just humbled and a
Yes.
servant, and I want to
Yes.
see lives changed and
Yes.
impacted.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you know what? And you're doing just that. You
Thank you.
you are definitely walking in your purpose. And I'm just so thankful. I'm
Yes.
thankful to know you. I'm thankful to be your friend. I'm thankful that you can even call me your friend because you have
Yes.
been such a blessing in my life and my family's life. And I just appreciate you so much. And I thank you for taking the time to share this with everybody. We tried this once before and we had a great time, but I didn't even hit the record button that time. But guess what? It's on this time.
That's right. It's all good. It's all good. God has
It
perfect
is.
timing.
It is.
Perfect
He
time.
does. He does. And he knows exactly what needed to be conveyed to people, what people needed to hear. So, you know what? I'm just thankful that he has given me the platform, the
Yeah.
opportunity to be able to bring people forth so that everybody can see, hey, you know what?
Yeah.
If they did it, I can do it too.
Yes. Yeah.
So we want to continue to encourage people, inspire people that your health does matter.
Yes.
It
Yes.
does matter. And, it's not a fad, it's a lifestyle change. So, Kathryn, thank you so much for being a part of Your Health Matters and
Yes.
sharing your awesome story. Thank you so much. And listen, this is Greta Ross with Mind, Body, Soul Shift, and Your Health Matters. So, Kathryn, we're going to come back with you in about 6 months and see where
All
you
right.
are and see how well you've done so we can get some more good stories on what's going on and what you've done since then. Like you said, you might have 3 books by that time. But thank
Yeah.
you for your time and thank you for sharing with the audience.
Thank you. God
Tell
bless you.
Preston I said hello.
I will. Take care.
Talk to you soon. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.